have the living room with its own balcony, nice little area. This apartment is definitely good. The living area is a good size and there's two young bedrooms plus another half. If it's coming off the hall is the toilet and a separate bathroom. The end is the kitchen. So bedroom number two. This is definitely that's yeah. Let's take a look. Yeah. Yes. This branch is small but functional. Small but functional. Yeah, that's very. It is the other half of these. So you've got that, and you've got the thing. And that's about it. There's no shower, not even a mirror. Okay, so it's a nice big kitchen. Nice big kitchen. Well, I wouldn't have to have a kitchen at this size. So a very big kitchen again. Put your own stand on it, so they as you can see the initiative they welcome to weekends. It's space for dishwasher too. Space for a dishwasher, exactly. If you'd like to add a dishwasher, any appliances that you'd like to add, it's highly likely that you have space. When it comes time to talk price, I'm amazed. This place is going for just £210 per week. That's about 415 Australian dollars. Finding a life-filled 2.5 bedroom home in London is hard enough, let alone one that's close to work. And for me, it would be about 35 minutes door to door. Best of all, this home is within my price range. But yes, this apartment is cheap because it's scheduled to be redeveloped. Nobody knows exactly when, but I could be given as little as 1 month's notice to get out. It is tempting, but it would be a bit of a gamble. Then again, renting in London is not a cut.
With more than 39 million people, Greater Tokyo is the most populous city in the world. It's notoriously packed, and its famously tiny apartments means renting here can give you little bang for the buck. To top it off, the average income in Japan is a bit less than you might expect. It means I've got the smallest amount of money to spend in this challenge, about 420 Australian dollars a week, or 40,000 yen. This might be tough. My search is taking me to two quite different parts of Tokyo. First up, the trendy area of Meguro, where the main beats of Tokyo are right around the corner. Hello, Alex. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for showing me around. I believe you've got the apartment for me.
I do. You want to see it?
Let's have a look. Sure.
All right. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's have a look.
There we are. You have to take off shoes in front of the apartment because we do in Japan. And first of all, you notice it's a little bit small.
Cozy, maybe, but this apartment is actually twice the size of what Jay found in New York at 32 square meters. It has its own bathroom, toilet, outdoor space, separated bedroom with a walk-in closet. Of course, it doesn't have everything.
What are these?
In the cupboard.
Oh, yeah, take a look. Take a look. Okay. So it's very common in Japan to find that you will not have enough. To be honest, in Japanese food, you don't really need enough. So you just don't have one.
On the flip side, renting in Japan gives you some unique advantages. This one of those fancy Japanese toilets.
Yes, this one is. This is a wet room style bath, right? So you can get everything wet in here. Not have to worry about it. So you want to climb in there.
So you got a bathtub.
You do get a bathtub, yeah. So that's the thing in Japan. Basically, no matter how small a place you get, you're going to have a bathroom. Because everybody wants to have a bathroom. It's a very cultural thing over here. You'll notice that it has a panel over here. This allows you to keep the water, and also you can set how high you want the water to be, and at what temperature you want the water to be. So it's very high in the bath.
And the bonus, the whole room your clothes.
Here. So just press on this button and dry the entire place. So a lot of people use this as an actual clothing dryer, right? So another space saving.
For one person, it's pretty comfortable. But remember, our budget is for 2 people.
So here is the bedroom,
Okay?
right? I can almost touch the walls. This would fit literally a bedroom. It is a bedroom in the most literal sense. It's a room just for your bed. And as how tall are you?
Just under 6 foot.
So it's under 6 foot. Okay. So yeah, that is
It's doable. I'm touching the power point at the end.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
All right, the important question. How much?
Right, so I have the math to you. This one comes out to $427 dues.
Okay, 427 dollars.
Yeah, which is a bit over what you were saying, but you're very close to anything you want.
Okay, so what if I need something bigger? Well, for that, we need the travel. Now, this is one of the best things about living in Tokyo. We're heading to Toshikawa. It's well over an hour's drive from central Tokyo, or 40 minutes on most trains. But we're taking the special rapid train. It runs a few times an hour and only takes 25 minutes.
The junctions again, shoes off. This place is a little bit larger.
Little bit, it's double the size at 60 square meters. It has 2 bedrooms and, well, everything's just a bit more generous.
So in terms of my name, it has, yes, it's a big free room. Still no oven. Still no oven, but it can have this. Okay, it's a company.
Okay. There's also a traditional tatami room. So what's the purpose of a tatami room? Living room or just a bedroom?
Yeah, so it's an interesting combination of both. If you use it as a bedroom, so basically you would put your bedding into here, your confined here, you open out, sleep on that at night. And then during the day, you would put that back in, and then you would usually have a fold out table that you put here.
But there are hidden costs.
You'll notice that this room is a little dark. There's good reason for that, because there's no light. That is the socket for the ceiling, not the standing light. You have to go and buy. Bring your own light. Bring your own light.
So I'm bringing my own lighting and bring my own air conditioning.
Bring your own lighting? What?
So we're on the budget.
Definitely on the budget.
It's a nice place, but you're further from the action. And the station is a 15-minute walk away, which in Tokyo is considered kind of far. Both places I found were close to budget. There's reason for that, which I'll get into later. You don't mind the work, the smaller spaces, it's not as far, and friendly in Tokyo certainly has its advantages.
Sydney. The most expensive city in Australia to be rented out. Living in a house or in a apartment. For most people, the cost of renting a house in the heart of the city is completely out of the question. But even an apartment here is now a stretch for many. The average rent for a unit here is $688 per week. That's followed by the nation's capital, Canberra. Melbourne, maybe a little surprisingly, comes in at $400 per annum. And at the bottom of the list is Adelaide. It's the country's most affordable capital to rent in. So I've got my work cut out for me, picking a place in Australia's most expensive city, especially if I want to be striking distance on the CBD. I'm looking in the inner west suburb of Dulwich Hill, which is about 7 kilometres from Sydney CBD. The real estate agents agreed to show me some places to see if I can find anything in my budget of $620 a week for 2 people. I'm starting at a place just off the main shopping strip, close to the station and light rail. It looks amazing, split over 2 levels and has 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 1 parking spot.
Sydney.
Which is quite here actually. It's a very good apartment. It's street level. It's got a beautiful kitchen stone inside. It's got lovely timber floors. It's really sunny out. Look at
Can we
this
get
place
ice cream or water? What do you want?
It has a bedroom and a bathroom.
And the water.
Do you want some sunny over here? Oh, I can see the pool.
Yeah.
So this is in one of two bathrooms.
Yeah, so this is one of two bathrooms. Quite a good size shower.
This apartment looks sleek, but it comes at a cost, and it's pushing my budget.
Before COVID or during COVID, it was sub 600, and now we're promoting it at 680. There are a lot of properties that are renting at the moment in this area, and they range from about 650 all the way up to $800 for 2-bedroom and 2-bathroom. This is probably one of the most inferior of the most modern 2-bathrooms. So we've got-
How much interest have you had for this?
We've actually had maybe 10 people inspect the properties today, so probably
I really like the look and feel of the place. It's clean and modern. It's no wonder it's so popular. I don't know if the camera can even show what it's like in here. Its bedroom is immaculate, and there's a lot of lovely natural light coming through. But unfortunately, this place is out of my budget. It's $680, and I have $620 for people. So Angela was taking me to
I got a
another
thing
place
in here.
about a 10-minute walk away. This time it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1 parking spot property. They're asking $540 a week, but I might have to make a few compromises.
okay, so you're going to love this one. It's a 2-bedroom Art Deco apartment. It's on the top floor of just 2 apartments. So it is natural light, district views, right next to the station, school, polished floors throughout. It's got a built-in wardrobe, and it's got a brand new kitchen inside. This has just recently been installed during COVID, actually, about a year ago, just to update it because at the time we couldn't get,
5,
and it's a
7.
lovely properties like this.
Angela's sales pitch was glowing, but this place is a good step down.
So this one hasn't got a renovated bathroom, unfortunately. So it is quite original.
Original is one way to put it. And how would have this place gone before COVID?
It would have struggled to actually lease, but now we're seeing this as being a very popular property.
Overall, I'm pretty happy with what I found, and I think I did pretty well compared to the others in London and New York. However, it was really difficult to stay on the budget, and both places were rented out immediately after we had a look at them. Whether you live in Sydney, London, Tokyo, or New York, what we're seeing is that all over the world, people are having to stretch their budget. That means less money to spend on other things and less money to save.
What's broken the rental market? With the claim of pandemic for today, some would argue that it's broken off that. We have gotten used to stories on that things that it does not achieve, should be its primary purpose of delivering good homes to people in the areas that they need it and the society quality that they need for. Because the housing is government services like water, housing. That's a big conversation, and politically, it's a good one to have. In the meantime, you have to stop while your hand is previous, and hand is previous right now. It's the money about investors. What if the government was looking at how much landlords can raise rent? When price regulation means that the system can benefit people can, while we sort out the changes in financial in the background. Something being tried in Canberra, which has had rules in 2019, limiting increases for ongoing tenants to 10% up to 20%. Rent can only go up by 4 the three civil and annual fees approved from the tribunal. The rules only apply to people on monthly periodic leases, on a yearly time, and whether it's a direct result of the rent rules or not, Canberra, despite having very high rental values control, has some of the lowest rent increases in the country.
There are some merits to it, and I can see why we would want to try and limit the increase on rents each year. Having said that, I think to introduce it to investors that bought into the market a decade ago or even 5 years ago, not expecting that kind of regulation to be put on their property, it probably is a bit unfair.
This idea is a bit normal in range, but it's not really increases are uncommon in other cities. We'll find it in some European countries like Germany, Canada,
regulation system covering more than 1 million homes. One of those policies is called rent control. This dates back to the Second World War and strictly limits how much rents can be increased by. Rent control apartments are usually much cheaper than market rates, but the scheme has been phased out, the number of units has dwindled, and really now the only way to get access to one is if it's passed down to you by a family member. Rent stabilisation is more common. In these units, a board appointed by the mayor decides the percentage by which rents can go up each year. And in most cases, tenants have the right to renew their lease. As you can imagine, competition for those types of apartments is fierce. And so a lottery system helps to decide who gets one.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I've come to meet Ahmed Tagani. He's from the government agency that runs the lottery, and he's going to show me how it works.
The housing lobby is our process for making sure that anyone who needs a unit of affordable, accessible housing has access to it in a fair and transparent way. So when a building is financed with HPD or city dollars, it goes through this online portal where people can apply.
The type of property you can apply for depends on how much you earn and the size of your household. It covers people on very low to middle incomes, and preference is given to city workers,
We
like
have that
teachers and police officers.
Huh?
We got that system too.
Rent stabilization.
We call it public housing and rental aid.
And roughly how many people apply for what kind of policy?
Why do they act like we don't have it?
About 400
really this
on average every 1 year.
What's interesting?
400 to 1. They're pretty sobering odds. But what can these apartments look like for the people who do manage to get one? Welcome to my apartment. Thank you. Tell me about this place. So we've been here for about 2 years now. And 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Here's
1, 2, 3.
downstairs Nathan Cooley spent several years applying to the lottery and now helps others to navigate the system.
So how do you get a rent-stabilized apartment? It sounds great.
She'd rather not say exactly how much she pays in rent, and it's not cheap. But she's able to get a lot more for her money than she ordinarily would.
Without housing lottery, do you think you could find a place like this in your budget? Absolutely not. So I do think some of my neighbors pay probably twice what I pay for this apartment. And I definitely don't think I would be able to afford it, especially not now that I'm a student again.
New York's rental regulation system is controversial. The biggest argument against schemes like this is that it's unfair to landlords. And if landlords can't make money, it will end up having a long-term negative effect on the overall supply of housing stock.
The fear is that it decreases the supply of rental housing in general and drives up the cost of those unregulated rents. It is a very good protection of the people who are lucky enough to have a regulated unit. It is not a protection for the people who need an apartment and can't find a regulated apartment, which is most people who are searching.
Housing affordability is a complex problem in New York. This is a densely populated city. People want to move here from all over the world. It means that many will continue to struggle.
Solving the problem of supply might say people just build more homes. You can't just rock up and build a house or a block of apartments. Throughout Australia, lands assigned to zones roughly broken into residential, commercial, industrial, mixed use, public use, agricultural. Beyond that, the state and territory has its own systems, like zones and subcategories. Within each of the zones, there's rules about what you can build and what you can't build. It's all horribly complicated. What if zoning rules
Unlike other major cities, Tokyo doesn't have a housing shortage. Quite the opposite. If we look at the supply of housing, we can see Tokyo, the blue line, has outperformed other major cities like London, New York, and Paris for decades. Some 10 million unused dwellings in the Japanese capital. So why does Tokyo have so much? I'm grabbing a coffee with Tokyo-based architect Jorge Almazan, who offers a simple explanation.
Well, you can build a house everywhere.
Well, almost. Tokyo has 12 zones. Here they are on a map. Residential, commercial, industrial. But these titles are a little misleading because you can actually build homes in all of these zones. There is one exception, and that's exclusively for industrial use, and you would probably not want to live there anyway.
The fact you can build a home in almost every zone, 11 out of 12 zones, what does that do for housing supply?
I guess the city can react organically to demand. If there is demand in certain areas, of course, you can provide housing. Even in that most residential zones, you can have like small workshops, small bars, small restaurants, small boutiques. So it's still mixed.
And that's where this drive map comes in. Rather than telling you what the zone is, it tells you what's actually being built. And the sheer explosion of colours shows you just how mixed the city is.
I think this map probably doesn't exist in many other cities because basically in other cities the zoning is a zoning, right? What do you get? That's not
The big central hubs are obvious. But you can also see the small commercial hubs dotted throughout what would normally be suburbia. All of this is connected by an intricate and reliable rail network.
if you want to live in the city center, it's going to be expensive. I mean, I think this is something that we need to clarify. But if you don't mind living a little bit outside, I would say the central 23 wards, or even in the, let's say, outskirts of the 23 wards, you can get quite reasonable housing. And the secret, of course, is transport. I mean, everywhere in the Tokyo metropolitan zone, you can get in less than 1 hour.
Compare Tokyo to New York. Over there, zones are more rigid. These yellow areas are the single or two-story use only. Areas for commerce are just that, no housing. It's called Euclidean zoning, and it's what's used in most American and Australian cities. The problem is, if an area fills up, there's no scope to add anything else. And that starts to pick up prices, whereas Tokyo,
I would call it more like an emergent process in which you don't have so much of a top-down control, but it's more like a bottom-up process. And I think Tokyo mostly done that way. I think that's the main lesson.
there are some drawbacks. Developers have far more free rein, and residents have no guaranteed rights to complain, so long as construction fits within the generous zoning laws.
We hear in Australia the expression NIMBY, which is not in my backyard. People who don't want higher density or commercial in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Do we see that in Tokyo, that attitude?
I would say it's less prominent than Australia or also the United States. I think it's quite common. But I think citizens in Japan and Tokyo, they should be allowed a little bit more of participation. I think that would be fun.
Tokyo hasn't experienced the big sharp rise in house prices that we've seen elsewhere. And we have to keep in mind that prices in Japan have been stuck in a bit of a time warp, with wages, inflation, economic growth stagnating after a big crash in the 90s. Just like everywhere else, the cost of living here is going up thanks to the pandemic and global inflation. So is all this extra housing stock helping? Is it the solution? Take a look at this. The cost of small apartments has stayed pretty consistent. There's been a more noticeable jump in bigger apartments. But now let's add the average rental prices for Australia. It's clear that Japan's price rises haven't been as sharp. And experts will tell you that's got a lot to do with supply.
And population growth, fucking dickhead.
There are more than 2.2 million private landlords in Australia. Most of them own a single investment property.
Huh?
Homes owned by these people.
Oh, they're saying Japan's got better housing growth. because there's less demand and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they build more houses, also the population is dropping.
Right. So what we should do the same.
Yes.
These people. It looks like a wine cup.
Mr. Wayne Kerr.
So if you look at dwelling approvals and the portion of those dwellings that are government owned, it's come down from about 89% in the 80s and 90s to less than 2% today. I
Oh.
think that the withdrawal of government housing over time has removed that kind of competition, especially for the most vulnerable in the rental market, when you do get fluctuations in the private rental market.
We really should be aiming for at least 10% of our housing stock to be public and community housing.
In some countries, 10% is regarded as low. Nearly 3 in 10 homes in the Netherlands for social housing, a quarter in Austria, about 17% in.
When you look around London, it's sometimes hard to believe there's such a shortage of affordable rentals. In almost every neighbourhood, you'll find block after block of social housing, or at least that's what it used to be.
This is a council estate in London, between Battersea Park Road and the railway. 28 blocks, population 87,000 people.
The nationwide program to build affordable homes gained pace throughout much of the 20th century. But in the 80s, it started running out of steam. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher favored home ownership.
And let people who live in social housing buy their own home, which is obviously in itself not a bad policy, but she never replaced those homes with new social homes. The overall stock has been really seriously depleted.
There are 1.5 million fewer social homes today than there were in 1980, and there are 1.2 million households waiting for accommodation. With a limited supply, only those in the most critical need can qualify, forcing millions of others to try their luck in the private rental market. As we've already demonstrated, if you're on a modest income, it is very difficult to afford your own private rental anywhere central here. And that's pricing out a big chunk of the city's workers, people that London desperately needs. Teachers, nurses, police officers, people who should be on decent wages are having to funnel more and more of that salary into rent. And for some, the only solution is to leave. To try to prevent that exodus, the Mayor of London runs a scheme called London Living Rent. The rents aren't tied to the wild market prices, they're tied to what people actually earn.
So you quite often find that young professionals are spending maybe 50-60% on rent, which obviously then means they can't afford to save in order to raise the deposits and move into a purchase home. So this London Living Rent, it makes a really important thing.
While private landlords might be charging a premium, under this scheme, tenants would have their rents set at no more than 30% of the average household income for the local area, and the leases last for a minimum of 3 years.
And they've got peace of mind knowing that they've got security of tenure for that period of time. And at the end of 3 years, they can renew for another 3 years, and then renew for another 3 years. But at the end of the 10 years, then the property does have to be sold.
Many of the homes available under the scheme are new or recently built. I've come to see a development in Hayes in the city's west, not far from Heathrow Airport, but on a new railway line into London. So this is the master bedroom?
This would be the master bedroom, yeah. There's a people in one of each of the bedrooms. This one has an ensuite.
Excellent. 3 bathrooms.
You need 3 bathrooms.
Standards have really changed, haven't they?
Oh gosh, yes, because expectations, yeah.
A 3-bedder here is renting for 513 Australian dollars a week, which is well below the market price. Each apartment that's advertised gets hundreds of inquiries for obvious reasons. This place is brand new. It even smells new. why it's not dingy like so many other affordable places. It's not in the most ideal location, but you can still get 50% of London in half an hour of that. So it will tick a lot of boxes for a lot of people, but not everyone can qualify. You have to meet certain eligibility criteria, so your income has to be below 60,000 a year, and that's a household income. So two joint incomes of 30,000 would take you to the limit. You mustn't own any other property, either in the UK or overseas.
Everyone, regardless of income, regardless of job, should be living in a home that's safe and dignified and stable.
But what if you don't qualify for social housing or the government's affordable housing schemes? A potential solution might lie deep inside some of London's otherwise abandoned buildings. It's called guardianship. So, Catherine, why is this one?
Yeah, well, this block as a whole is going to be regenerated in the next couple of years. So they're going to build brand new flats.
Under the guardianship model, renters can live inside the unwanted buildings until the demolition works begin. It could be months, or it could be years.
So it's much better for everyone. If someone's living here, treating it as their home, taking care of it in the way that you would your home anyway. It also means that people living here can get much cheaper housing than they could anywhere else.
Some properties under guardianship go for half the market price. Demand is so high, Catherine's firm only selects candidates who can prove they do volunteer work. Perhaps the biggest hurdle, though, is uncertainty. Guardians can be told to leave within 30 days, so this solution is definitely not for everyone.
It's not a good match for people who are vulnerable and with kids, but they do need to be flexible and resilient so that when we ask them to move out, it's not. It's really important to do that. Guardianship is not a whole solution to the London and the UK's housing problem. It's one really good solution, but we do really need to build some more housing.
And that's something almost everyone in this city can agree.
So we've looked at government-owned social housing in relationship between private landlords and renters, but are they those two options to there be another way?
Here in Australia, there's been a lot of focus on housing affordability and possible solutions like rental caps have already been ruled out, and zoning is not going to change anytime soon. But there's another possible solution, the build-to-rent sector.
Well, they're homes that no individual will ever own, and they are springing up all over the city.
Under this model, a property is owned by a single person or company and is professionally managed with the sole purpose of being rented. On paper, build-to-rent promises a lot of things. They offer long-term tenancies, on-site management, and the ability to make alterations like painting and decorating. They are also built to solely increase rental stock. It's a relatively new market in Australia. There are already projects in Sydney, Perth, and Brisbane, but there's one city that's leading the way. More than 50% of build-to-rent projects are in Melbourne. While it's just getting started in Australia, it's already huge overseas.
The American dream isn't for sale, it's for rent in this community near Atlanta, Georgia.
In the US, almost 6.5 million homes have been developed since 1992. I'm here in the Sydney suburb of Marrickville to check out a very new build-to-rent property. This is Nightingale Marrickville. The land was donated by a church to a not-for-profit developer. They're working with charity pressure to rent out affordable units at a discount to low or middle-income workers. It doesn't look like much, but in a couple months' time, this building is going to open to just rentals. If you want to live here, you have to join a rental lottery, just like we saw with Jade in New York. Let's go have a look. So this is one of the units in the building.
Yeah, so this is typical of the 54 affordable homes in the building. Small footprint home, parliament apartment, toilet, and the full bathroom.
I have to say, I'm very pleasantly surprised at how efficient the space has been used here. There's no secret that land is expensive in Sydney, and the reason these places are so small is to keep costs down. Okay, so rents here are set at 70 to 80% of market rate, but as we know, rents have never been more expensive. Is this actually affordable?
Yeah, it's a great question to jump in getting to 50-40% of people's market rent, there needs to be significant input from government.
So that place showed a lot of promise, but don't you hate it when you don't get to see the finished product? Let's go have a look at a build to rent in another area. I'm heading to the Western Sydney suburb of Homebush to have a look at what a build to rent property looks like once it's up and running. These rooms are rented out at full market rates, and they're a more typical example of what the housing model looks like.
This is coming from one of the country's biggest developers, Mirvac. No discounts in this building.
And like, this is our permanently set up display apartment. So we've got a 1-bedroom apartment here on the ground floor, 50 square meters internally with this 24-meter courtyard. So this is a 1-bedroom place. Yep, 1-bedroom apartment. There's no doubt that a place like this looks really lovely, but at $680 per week, it's on the pricier end of the spectrum. But build-to-rent properties have to make a profit.
So why would a builder or developer undertake a build to rent project rather than build to sell?
One, you're building to sell down, and the other, you're looking to hold for the long term and looking to drive stable long term. One of the benefits of a build to rent property like this is the stability it offers. Because it's run by a big business, it usually offers you long leases. It means you're not likely to
Turn the windows sounds down.
It's built solely for rent.
Like, I swear, every
For
week.
anyone that's kind of stressed about housing or is really stressed about renting, I would strongly suggest looking into the build to rent option because it provides you the flexibility of the security and independence with those who live in there. I think that what we're seeing today is that we're at the infancy of the industry, and while the commercial return is there for the market, it's really challenging to deliver affordable products at.
Is it not automatic? It doesn't stay at the volume?
No, it's this system sounds here.
Yeah.
I turn it down all the time,
Okay. And then you just
and then it meant to.
scratch that.
But then if I hit it like, you know,
That might be taking some pressure away from other types of rental.
Interesting.
Many people experience renting just sucks. Data from New South Wales suggests that most
Oh, we're back in Sydney.
People
Wow.
really want to have, they want to be moving people around, and you just can't do that as a renter because you can report out not only in the home, but also
Better or worse, in Australia, people often view renting as a temporary, something that must be dealt with on the way. That's not the case everywhere. In Vienna, Austria's capital, most people rent. Renting for life.
666.
That's the result of very different decisions about housing. Essentially, maybe build to rent offers one step in that direction, but one solution won't fix this problem. Unscrambling eggs is useful when everyone a renter or a landlord has something at stake. We've looked at some dynamics affecting rental costs, but not all. And cover our supply chain lead one to this problem. We've seen how different philosophies of development drive a lot of new Australia. Australia has a very different mindset, very different zoning. We've seen how rent stabilisation can help some people secure a pretty decent home. Sky hasn't fallen in New York or in Canberra, but equally, it alone hasn't resolved rental pressures.
Rental pressures are probably going to start to ease up a bit in 2024. I really hope that doesn't mean that we let go of this conversation and rights for tenants and the provision of social and affordable housing. Because if you do have a shock in the future, you don't want to be going through something like this again.
There's no silver bullets here. It will be a mix of different ideas, programs that help direct the market. The solutions we've seen around the world will all play a part in that. The only way to fix something that's broken is to work hard at repairing it. Just like a home, drawing up and plan is one thing, and to get something concrete is much harder.
current state of the building and construction sector dire.
Something it's important. It's people. This is a story about a broken industry, about boulevards of broken dreams for unfinished homes, about tradies and suppliers unpaid in their thousands.
Yeah, we're talking about city market problem now.
Now they're talking about building.
Mm,
I might not be able to get work.
finally.
There doesn't seem to be an appetite for government to actually deal with the problem.
Is that still the same documentary?
No.
Oh, okay.
Same channel, ABC.
Okay.
And we expose others that rack up debt, liquidate,
It was so silly.
Same shit, different smell. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna recycle your fuel pack thing
Yeah,
to
right.
use as my paint board. Clear recycle. Because you never throw them out.
it's a major night in the suburbs of southeast Melbourne.
Sorry. I had a bit in here and you got rid of it. It's out of the driveway now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought you didn't like it because it was dirty. So
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna bring it back, but
Oh,
I forgot.
And not this month, it's your
sitting on the
last
driveway.
signed up
Oh,
contract
wash
to
it.
lock the place.
You bring it
And
back.
then on 29th of March, we paid $10,000 because our limit was 10,000 per day. And then the balance of $4,884 I paid on 30th of March, which is Thursday evening at 6:45 p.m.
Hours later, a social media post catches Rahul's wife Pooja's attention.
I'm a part of the Facebook group for today's customers, and there were reports there that they might go into liquidation and there are delays happening, something is going wrong with Porter Davis. But we didn't trust that Facebook post.
I was numbed at that time. I asked her to share me that screenshot. Send me that screenshot of that Facebook page where they're saying
And then I beat her because she didn't send it in the face.
Still who reported this to whom I was dealing with. I mentioned in the email that, is it true? I saw this on the Facebook page.
Oh, I've seen this, Tucker.
That you guys are going to do the liquidation.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
Very,
Liquidation.
very stressed at that time.
They were interviewed by different news agency. Same couple. Same story.
Is it true?
By the morning, liquidators had taken control of the Porter Davis group. About 2,500 customers were affected by the collapse.
What they have done to us was not the right thing to do. They should have stopped like a month ago, like they should have stopped taking the deposit. Now they have taken our deposit a night before when they're going into liquidation. We not expected of such a big builder living in Australia that this could happen to us. We trusted the whole process.
Trust is all gone. Trust really trust is all gone. Now you can't trust any builder in this industry.
According to the liquidators, Porter Davis may have been insolvent from February. It burned through customers' deposits as the company desperately tried to generate cash flow for the failing business.
It has impacted me emotionally and physically. I'm more depressed, more anxious, I'm getting the panic attacks and all that. Mentally, I'm like suffering, and it's not easy for our family. We're struggling, I would say. Financially, we are struggling, and it's a lot.
We are seeing such levels of financial distress that there's nothing to say. And so what happened to Porter Davis was they went straight into liquidation. If you are paying a
Company
deposit,
is that?
anyone
Is that
who pays
Aussie
money
company?
up in the dying hours or days of a business is extremely unfortunate. There's a question of, is it legal or is it ethical? They're two different questions sometimes. Definitely not ethical.
The couple are paying a mortgage they took out to buy the land on top of the mortgage on their current home. They now face a long construction delay and potential replacement builders want big money, raising doubts about whether they can afford their dream home.
Honestly, I don't want to sell. This is my dream. Whatever it will take me to keep the dream alive, I will do, but it's all with the God, and I don't know whether I can fulfill that or not.
Rahul's working 2 jobs to make the dream happen
Damn.
and recoup the money his family lost to Porter Davis.
I work one job and I'm doing the part-time as Uber driver as well. Friday and Saturday I never get home in the evening with my family. I just drive an Uber. Because those are the 2 days where you can earn a little bit more.
There's stories like this across the country. Australia has experienced the highest rate of construction insolvencies in a decade. Over the past year, nearly 30% of all company failures are in the building industry.
We've come out of COVID, an artificial environment that disrupted supply chains, input costs for everything, steel, timber, plasterboard, everything has doubled, tripled, and more. When you've got so many factors spinning out of control that aren't within normal forecasts and normal ranges, it is very difficult.
Porter Davis went broke owing creditors more than $147 million.
Holy shit, they never coming back.
Earthlift Excavations Managing Director Peter McLeod worked with the home builder for decades. Porter Davis made up 15% of his company's business.
How much money did you lose?
The debt that they owed us was just under $1.4 million. In my time, in 20 odd years, it would be the most difficult time that I've seen for the builders as well as the subbies and contractors.
So what's happening with your costs?
We've had some horrendous increases in costs in the last few years, actually, and not only due to COVID. COVID increased wages and supply costs and all those sorts of things, but the weather was a major influence in the last couple of years. So our transport costs went up considerably. Our ticketing costs, in some cases, went up 200, 300, 400% in some places. So we absorbed those costs as long as we could, but we got to a point where we had to start passing on to the clients, not to the builders.
So that massive cost increases overall, how would it average out?
Oh, it could have been anywhere to around a 30% increase.
And do you have to pass that on to a builder like Porter Davis?
Yep. We had to increase our rates with them, and they didn't like it when we went to renegotiate rates. They didn't like it, but we said, well, we need to do it. We're not going to give you 12 months to do it.
Peter's business has insurance that will cover part of the money lost. Many smaller subcontractors lack that safety net.
You're a big operator. If it's been that tough for you, what must it be like for the
People that do what we do, the payments on trucks to make, payments on machines, all those sorts of things. The families that do it, that would have been a very tough one. It still is a tough one. There's a lot of people really doing it hard about it.
Before the Porter Davis, this warehouse was a hive of activity. It's home to a small company that sees the business opportunity.
Can you find out and show me how it works? So the coil will be put in the business sheet, and metal will turn on here, and
But as the prices shot up, Sandy Chen started making house frames out of steel.
Later on, after all making it here, we will use a truck deliver it to the construction site.
Autodators was his largest customer. Said he spent big money on materials for a pipeline of work for the building company.
This part cost me $5,000. And all in this warehouse roughly cost me about $400,000. And this all for prototype